Yo, what's up, YouTube? Give me a second. I gotta actually go get my book real quick. And then, okay. What's up, Facebook? All right. I think we are good to go. Okay. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Michael Music. It is episode 50 of just studying Think and Grow Rich. We've been actually reading this book for a little bit now, which is really cool to see. 50 episodes in the bank. What we're going to do today is continue on the conversation about specialized knowledge and continue where we left off essentially. So we left it on page 94 in the deluxe version. We talked about what an educated person is. And we also talked a little bit about the story of Henry Ford, where he came from, how people actually put him on trial for thinking for some situation happened where he actually sued some people for slandering him, for calling him dumb, and they put him on trial to test him out, right? And he actually proved that, oh, hey, I don't need all this general knowledge. At the push of a button, I can get any person that I need to come to me with the answers. And so they understood that this was not the answer of an uneducated man, even though he's only had 3 years, 3 months, whatever it was, of schooling. This was actually the answer of a very intelligent man. And so we left it off saying that anyone who knows where to get knowledge from, if they have organized knowledge and knows how to organize that knowledge into definite plans of action, now that is an educated man. So that's what we were talking about yesterday, and we really touched on the importance of how it's really not necessary to have this knowledge in your own mind. It really is. It really can be in either the mastermind, which we'll touch up on, or maybe it's in a book and it's organized in your library. So that's kind of where this conversation is going, and we're gonna keep going from there. So Hill says on page 94, before you can be sure of your ability to transmute desire into monetary equivalent, you will require specialized knowledge of the service, merchandise, or profession which you intend to offer in return for fortune. Perhaps you may need much more specialized knowledge than you have the ability or the inclination to acquire. And if this should be true, you may bridge your weakness through the aid of your mastermind group. Okay, so here is where the mastermind group is officially being brought up. Andrew Carnegie stated that he personally knew nothing about the steel business. Moreover, he did not particularly care to know anything about it. The specialized knowledge which he required for the manufacture of marketing of steel he found available through the individual units of his mastermind group. So think about this. Andrew Carnegie, the person that inspired Napoleon Hill to write this book, was the richest man at the time, and he was in the steel business. And it's interesting to realize that he knew nothing about steel. He didn't focus on the details about steel, the marketplace, the stocks, none of that. Andrew Carnegie, I'm not sure if he'll explain in this book, but Andrew Carnegie, what Napoleon Hill actually tells us is he focused his attention on making sure that everyone was working in a spirit of harmony. So Andrew Carnegie became the richest man in the world, not because of the knowledge or the general knowledge that he had, but because he was so great at forming a mastermind. And in his mastermind, these people that he kept in it, they had the knowledge that he needed. So this is proof that you don't need all the knowledge that you think you do or that I think I do if you want to obtain what it is that we talked about all in the week of desire. Okay. Furthermore, Hill says the accumulation of great fortunes calls for power, and power is acquired through highly organized and intelligently directed specialized knowledge, but that knowledge does not necessarily have to be in the possession of the man who accumulates the fortune. So I will repeat that again because this is what we're talking about. What is different about this book than any other book that's saying you can become a millionaire, right? First, we're not talking about just like the how-to strategies to get rich. We're talking about literally getting a power. Like that's what I think is so cool about this book. Like these principles are not about giving you strength, right? A mentor says you have enough strength, but I'm here to give you power. And so whenever I hear this word, I'm like this is the word I need to be reading. So I'll repeat it again. The accumulation of great fortunes calls for power, and power is acquired through highly organized and intelligently directed specialized knowledge. But that knowledge does not necessarily have to be in the possession of the man who accumulates the fortune. The preceding paragraph should give hope and encouragement to the man with ambition to accumulate a fortune who has not possessed himself of the necessary education to supply such specialized knowledge as he may require. Men sometimes go through life suffering from inferiority complexes because they are not men of education. The man who can organize and direct a mastermind group of men who possess knowledge useful in the accumulation of money is just as much a man of education as any other man in the group. Okay, let's talk about it. So let me first ask you, what is it that you want? What is that burning desire? What is holding you back from that burning desire? That thing, that goal that you set out for yourself that you say you know is possible, and you know also like, okay, am I able? Yes. Am I willing? It's a little hesitant about that, right? Because you're like, oh my God, like I have to acquire all this specialized knowledge, become an expert in my field, and then go set out and do the thing that I said I can do. But what Hill is saying here is that's actually the wrong thinking. Do you need all the knowledge that you need right here, right now? Or do you need to start, find the people that can become a part of your mastermind, and they will give you the knowledge as you go along on your journey to whatever it is that you want. I love this. I love this. This is a great distinction, right? It's hitting me deep because I'm thinking, oh wow, I don't have time to do all this research on like the X goal that I set out for myself. And it's like making me think, do I need to do all that research myself? Why can't I just start having conversations with more and more people, find the right people, and then just be like, hey, listen, man, this is where I'm going. I know you're an expert in this area. Can you help me out along the way? Would you like to be a part of my mastermind group? So it's a whole brand new thinking, and I really like how he's distinguishing. This is the difference between an educated man and a man of great general knowledge. So Andrew Carnegie knew nothing about steel. It really goes back to saying like, but he didn't need to because he was still the richest man in the world. So that's actually very inspiring to be able to like finally understand this idea. Or yeah, like understand it on a certain level, right? It is always getting better with this. Anyways, Hill says Thomas A. Edison had only 3 months of schooling during his entire life. He did not lack education, neither did he die poor. Henry Ford had less than a sixth grade schooling, but he managed to do pretty well by himself financially. Specialized knowledge is among the most plentiful and the cheapest form of service which may be had. If you doubt this, consult the payroll of any university. That's interesting. Why does Hill say specialized knowledge is among the most plentiful and the cheapest form of service which may be had? Right? If you become an expert in your field, how much energy do you really have to exert out for people to pay you to share your expertise on something that you already have specialized knowledge on? And how expensive is it for you to talk to someone who's looking for the knowledge or the story or the insight that you have? How expensive is it to just talk to them about what it is that you already know? Right? Like, isn't that what he's saying? Like, that's why it's so easy and it's cheap. Like, you don't have to, you know, provide like the cure to cancer for someone seeking out your advice. If you become just good at what you do, good at that one thing, you can give out specialized knowledge, and it's probably possibly one of the easiest ways that I'm seeing now. Market it as a way to earn additional income. Okay, now we're gonna dive deep into a section, and it is called "It Pays to Know How to Purchase Knowledge." Now, Hill says, first of all, decide the sort of specialized knowledge you require and the purpose for which it is needed. So, why are you acquiring all this knowledge, right? Are you going to go out to the library and buy a ton of books just because you think that billionaires read a ton of books? Or are you going to have a reason to buy specific books that you believe will help you get from A to B to C to X to Y to Z? To a large extent, your major purpose in life, the goal toward which you are working, will help determine what knowledge you need. With this question settled, your next move requires that you have accurate information concerning dependable sources of knowledge. The more important of these are: A, one's own experience in education; B, experience and education available through the cooperation of others, as in a mastermind alliance; C, colleges and universities; D, public libraries through books and periodicals in which may be found all the knowledge or organized all the knowledge organized by civilization; or E, special training courses, possibly through night schools and home study schools in particular. So what are we saying here? Your next move requires that you have the accurate information concerning dependable sources of knowledge. So we just listed five different sources which you can obtain specific knowledge, and we're general knowledge is out the window at this point. We're talking about specific knowledge. And what's interesting, one thing I've done is actually I get a lot of books on my phone, right? It's something that I will admit no one does. They're like, "Oh, I can't read on my phone. It's way too small." And I look at them and I'm like, "Man, I've been reading on my phone my whole life. Like I grew up with my phone. I've been reading text messages, Instagram. Like who's gonna tell me I can't just read a book on my phone?" And soon enough, my library on my phone turned from one book to two books to three books to 100 books. And now I think I'm sitting at over 300 books in my library. Now, I'm not saying I read them all, but I am saying I actually have, I found a way to organize so many great knowledge on the Apple Books app. And this is a conversation for another day, but it's cool now because you got to realize all the information that we're seeking all the specialized knowledge that we're seeking is essentially on your phone. Now, I'm not saying that the mentor or the mastermind, it's that easy to acquire. You can't just go on the internet. But I am saying that there are mastermind alliances out there that are working in harmony, and it's kind of up to you to find your own course on how you're going to become a part of a mastermind alliance or form your own mastermind alliance. And that is something that we'll dive deep definitely in this book. But the idea is, what I'm trying to say is, all right, let's face it, all the internet, all the information is out there on the internet. How can you possibly organize this, sort it so that you can get all the answers you need through either your phone or your computer, right? And it's like you don't even got to leave your house at this point to acquire specialized knowledge, which is super cool. Now, I'm not saying you don't have to spend money to acquire certain knowledge. Like I spent a lot of money buying new books, buying audios, buying programs, paying for mentors, investing back into myself. But I will tell you, and this is something I've been told, it pays. It pays tremendously. It pays way more than the money that I paid out for it. Now, I understand it's hard for most people to understand that haven't done this yet, that haven't bought their first book yet. They're like, I don't know if this is worth it. So that's a conversation for another day. But I'm just saying, just what I'm ultimately saying is understand that all the information is out there, literally at your fingertips. It is about whether it's up to you on how well can you organize and direct that knowledge. So that's the main idea that I'm sharing there. Now we're going to continue on. Hill says, as knowledge is acquired, it must be organized and put into use for a definite purpose through practical plans. Knowledge has no value except that which can be gained from its application towards some worthy end. This is one of the reasons why college degrees are not valued more highly. They represent nothing but miscellaneous knowledge. Okay, so I just went on a rant on how to organize all this knowledge, how you can get it all. But what was I missing there? What was the key point that I was missing when I'm like talking about how you can organize all this knowledge on your phone? So what I was missing was that not only must this knowledge be organized, but it must be put into use, as Hill says. And he says, for a definite purpose through practical plans. And he also then explained like why college is not valued as highly because yeah, you got all this organized knowledge, but now the question is, are you putting that knowledge to use? Okay, we're going to keep going. If you contemplate taking additional schooling, first determine the purpose for which you want the knowledge you are seeking, and then learn where this particular sort of knowledge can be attained from reliable sources. Successful men in all callings never stop acquiring specialized knowledge related to their major purpose, business, or profession. Those who are not successful usually make the mistake of believing that the knowledge acquiring period ends when one finishes school. The truth is that schooling does but little more than put one in the way of learning how to acquire practical knowledge. With this changed world, which began at the end of the economic collapse, came also astounding changes in educational requirements. The order of the day is specialization. This truth was emphasized by Robert P. Moore, Secretary of Appointments of Columbus University. Okay, so let's talk about what we just read right there. So Hill says that the most successful people, what do? He says that they never stop obtaining and organizing specialized knowledge. And they're not just getting specialized knowledge in different random areas. They're doing it in related to their major purpose, business, or profession. And you can notice that he says that a lot of people that aren't successful, they go through grade school, they go through high school, they get to college, and once they graduate after college, boom, learning is a thing of the past to them. They're like, hey, I got educated, I'm done learning. So that's a difference that I notice in so many successful people compared to essentially the masses. Really, a lot of my friends that just graduated college with me, I'm pretty confident they're done learning for life. I don't think uh, they want to read books at all. So it's just an interesting difference. Okay, now we're gonna read. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna pause it there. We're gonna end this on the specialist most sought. So that will be for a later episode. So I want to ask you, what'd you learn? What'd you like from what we talked about today in specialized knowledge? I'll go and say I liked. We first talked about just backtracking to the beginning. We first talked about obtaining power, right? And this is a word that's going to come up continuously through Think and Grow Rich. And I liked how when Napoleon Hill says the accumulation of great fortunes calls for power, empowered is acquired through highly organized and intelligently directed specialized knowledge. So I thank you, RC. I appreciate you for hopping on. And the reason I like the word power so much is because that's what I think this book is really giving you. It's not a how to in the stock market. It's not a how to in how to get rich in real estate, how to get rich in investing. This is a book on not only how to obtain money, but how to obtain anything that you want. And you think like, okay, like what's the deal here? And the thing is, this is a book that I think is specific to obtaining true power, and in a good way. I'm not saying like you want power over everyone else, but I liked going back to what I was saying. I liked how we're talking about the importance of specialized knowledge being put into use is the main spring of action for real power. And it's also really interesting the distinction between the idea that I don't need this specialized knowledge in my possession. I can have a mastermind group with other individuals who have the specialized knowledge that I need. And I think the greatest example that Napoleon Hill puts out is Andrew Carnegie, who knew nothing about the steel business, but he was so good at forming a mastermind alliance. And the reason he was so rich is that he focused all of his energy on making sure that everyone worked in a spirit of harmony. So that's where he was kind of in the business. Everyone's like, okay, if he didn't know anything about steel, then what did he know? Like, what use was him in the building of his steel corporation? But his specialty was making sure that he had a harmonious masterminds group. So I say this all to say that it's really cool focusing on building your own mastermind group, making sure that you can keep it in a spirit of harmony and really focus on like how do I obtain true power here. So I really like that. And Napoleon Hill says it like the man who can organize and direct a mastermind group of men who possess knowledge useful in the accumulation of money is just as much a man of education as any man in the group, right? There's probably, I found this interesting because I became a mechanical engineer in college, right? And there is like a part of me that could have gone this route of, diving deep, doing all this technical stuff with coding, SolidWorks, all this engineering stuff. But I was like, how is me diving deep into this really going to get me to my purpose? How is this going to get me to my end goal, right? Like, why can't I focus my attention on forming a mastermind alliance and hiring the people I need. Maybe it could be engineers to have the specialized knowledge that I need. Maybe it could be anyone like in any particular field, right? Like, why do I need to focus on diving deep and understanding everything there is about physics when I can just mastermind with people who know more than me with it? So that's kind of the big takeaway I'm getting from this is I'm gonna be I'm going to become a master of harmonious relationships, right? I want to understand how people operate and work rather than how to do the technical thing. Like, do I have to become the best real estate investor when I can just have a harmonious relationship with some of the greatest real estate investors and pick their brains and give that value to them. So yeah, this the ideas presented in these few pages I think are super powerful, and I'm really glad I get to end it there. So I'm gonna wrap this episode up with that. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll leave you with this until we meet again in time and space. Peace out, Facebook and YouTube. I'll see you soon enough. Peace out.